On this episode of the Comic Blast podcast, we talk about the newly revealed PlayStation 5 controller. We also talk about what video games we've been replaying and playing for the first time since we're in this self-quarantine. All of that coming up next.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Consider this mercy. I am inevitable.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. My name, of course, is Grayson, and with me is Keenan. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Surviving quarantine. Kind of losing my mind lately, but slowly pushing through it.
You know, on Twitter, because I don't know if people know, but we don't normally talk. I mean, we don't talk at all usually throughout the week by voice. So most of our engagements throughout the week are usually just by text or DMs or tweets. And obviously, Keenan is very active on Twitter, and I'll just get I don't know if it's the way it orders my tweets or whatever,
Sure.
to try to help me catch up. But I'll just see 5 tweets in a row from Keenan, and I'm just like, Keenan, you okay over there, man?
Nope. Thanks for asking, though. No, I haven't been okay. I was talking.
Well, that's just that's cool.
I was talking to someone, and I was like, probably before all this kind of happened and the self-quarantine thing happened, I considered myself an introvert. And then about 2 weeks into it, I was like, I'm definitely not an introvert. Or this has changed me and I'm an extrovert now, because I don't know, this whole thing just shifts my perspective in a major way.
Yeah.
And it makes me appreciate so many other things that,
Yes.
I didn't think I would appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did the other day? Last night, actually, I drove by the movie theater. Not the one we go to, but the one further down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the saddest thing. It was 8 o'clock, and it was dark. Even the parking lot was dark, and there were no posters at all. And the now showing posters and stuff. Outside the building, no posters. It just looked like an abandoned movie theater. And I was like, geez, I'm like, this is how far we've, come. And it really bummed me out, but.
Yeah, it feels like it's hard to say the next time we'll actually be able to go to the theaters, because so many movies have been delayed and stuff now. That's even if this all blows over soon, which who is to say on that?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Even then, if there's going to be any movies in theaters for us to go see,
right?
There's only a handful of things that have not been delayed, and I'm sure they will. Tenet, that comes out in July, I'm sure is probably the one that I'm most excited for.
Yeah,
and it hasn't been delayed yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Man, Oscar season is going to be fun for next year. Birds of Prey going to be nominated for everything. Really though, there's gonna be no movies out.
Yeah, it's gonna be there was 3 to 5 big movies, and then coronavirus happened, and so what if they cancel the Oscars?
That'd be a bit of a bummer. I don't know. I kind of want to see I want to see Birds of Prey go against Invisible Man for Best Picture. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
My money's on Invisible Man.
Yeah, probably.
I love that
Elizabeth
movie.
Moss will get Best Actress, and Ewan McGregor will get Best Actor.
Honestly, I would love if he got nominated for Best Actor for Black Mask.
That'd be so cool.
It would be cool, but also the fact that Ewan McGregor, I don't know if he has won an Academy Award. I think it would be hilarious and also really funny and sad at the same time that he would win Best Actor for playing Black Mask.
Yeah.
Or Best Supporting Actor, I guess, because I guess he wouldn't be a lead. When I feel like he's done so many incredible performances.
Yeah.
It's gonna be strange, but
strange year.
Yeah. Anyway, before we kind of get into the randomness of this episode, because there's like, as it has been for the past couple of weeks, there's not much, and we don't have really anything cool planned for this episode. Maybe next week, but this week has kind of been rough on probably
The
both
news.
of our ends. Probably, yeah, more so on the news, but also just like Keenan has been very busy with work, and I've been busy with school and like trying to fix my sleep schedule, which has just turned into a gigantic mess that it just does not work. But yeah. Anyway, of course, if you want to keep up with us, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at comicblast_. We try to keep as active as we can on there. And you can kind of keep up to dates with all of like the new episodes and general topics and stuff. I remember earlier this week I went on there and I asked what MCU movie people watch the most.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I actually got a lot of different responses.
Yeah.
Most of them they seemed pretty fair, but we didn't get any like super crazy ones.
No.
But I remember yours was Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah.
which actually surprised me a lot. I was like certain it was going to be something like one of the Captain America movies or Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, but I mean,
Actually,
Ragnarok.
I haven't watched Infinity War a ton.
Really?
Yeah, maybe like 5 or 6 times.
How many times have you watched Ragnarok?
Oh, quite a few. There's been times where I just put that movie on in the background or like going to bed or something like that. Just something, it's something kind of chill and fun and lighthearted to watch. Which, by the way, I know we still got to like get through the rest of the housekeeping, but Taika Waititi tonight is doing a rewatch party of Ragnarok. So if you want to like see his live tweets and stuff, that'd be pretty interesting, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, that'd be kind of cool. I remember there's like a lot of people that are kind of doing that right now.
Yeah. James Gunn.
Like yeah. Wait, really?
Yeah, he did Guardians 1 a couple nights ago.
Oh. I hope he does Guardians 2 because I really like that movie.
I love Guardians 2.
Yeah, I was actually like thinking about that movie the other day because I don't know why lately I've been kind of in an MCU mood.
Yeah.
Where like, and I think it's just this season where it like, the last year and the year before that, it was that build up
This
to
Infinity War and Endgame for 2 years straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like I remember building up to Infinity War, like I watched all of the MCU movies in order of release at that time.
Yeah.
And then last year, like just I think I remember around last year is when we watched
Infinity War.
When we did our Infinity War commentary, which was so long ago. I would love to do more commentaries.
I would too.
I think it's just so fun to do.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a Netflix party or something sometime.
Yeah, I think as long as our internet would not crap out for at least a good 2.5 hours, I think we could definitely sync it up and try to do something. Because there are a handful of Netflix movies or Marvel movies on Netflix.
Yep.
I wish Disney had some kind of watch party feature.
Right.
At Disney Plus, because obviously like almost all of them are on there. But yeah, I've been like on YouTube, and when I'm studying or doing homework or anything like that, there's all these really awesome mixes that people make and put on YouTube.
Yep. Gets you
and
so hyped.
Like, yeah, it's just such good study music. And so like one guy, he did like an ambient MCU mix where it's like it's not like hype music and it's not like the main themes, but it's like like little subtle themes that are in like kind of in those more I guess more melancholy or like toned back scenes, character moments. So it'll have stuff from like First Avenger, kind of just like very small things from that, or Guardians of the Galaxy, or Spider-Man Homecoming, or Doctor Strange. And it's like you can still hear what's going on in those movies without it being just like the blasting the main theme or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's really cool. But then there's also another one where someone like literally pieced together all 22 MCU themes all the way from Iron Man 1 to Endgame, and like it just makes you want to go back and watch every single MCU movie in order.
I could do that.
Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking
what
about
else
doing
do we
it
have
again.
going on?
Like nothing really. Like I don't know. I just like I feel ever since Endgame, like I've been so kind of distant from like I've just been missing that universe, and which is why like I was really excited for Black Widow and everything like that, and now like that feels so far away.
I mean, Black Widow's coming out in like November now, I think.
Yeah.
That means
I mean, we are getting the Disney Plus shows, which is nice.
That means we're going to go an entire year without an MCU film, which hasn't happened in, I don't know when the last time that's happened. 2008? I don't know.
No, I think it was. I was looking at the years, and I think the biggest one was there was a really big time gap in 2015 to 2016 with Ant-Man and Civil War, where that was from July to May, so that wasn't over a year. I think
Ant-Man came out in July.
Yeah, Ant-Man came out in July of 2015 after Age of Ultron, because that was the last year that I think there was only 2 MCU movies that came out. Until now.
Now there's only one this year.
Yeah. But was Eternals ahead of Black Widow now?
No, Eternals got pushed to next year.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
So now it's just Black Widow. It's insane. It kind of blows my mind.
It's sad.
But yeah. Anyway, back to kind of what I was saying. I saw some of people's like responses on there, and we got some like actual good ones. Mine was Winter Soldier.
Yes.
I've watched that movie. Like, I'd have to say maybe like I don't know if this is being generous, but like maybe like 20, 22 times.
Jeez.
Like that's just one of those movies that like I can just put on, just like Ragnarok as well. I mean,
it's the best
my top
MCU
3
movie. I mean,
it's so good. It's so good.
It is.
And yeah, some people put out like Guardians of the Galaxy. Some people put Infinity War. Some people put Endgame, which people who have watched Endgame the most out of all the MCU movies, like, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, it feels a lot heavier because that movie is so much longer, you know?
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have, like, I could say that I've watched Endgame that many times, but it's like, I'm pretty sure I've watched Infinity War more times. Maybe because... Go ahead.
Yeah, I always want to I always have this feeling in me where I just want to watch Endgame, but there's something about it. It's kind of like a Star Wars movie for me where I don't want to like it to lose the magic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know how like Star Wars movies, like they're now realizing that they should kind of space them out. That's kind of how I feel about rewatching Endgame.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, it's long, so it's tough to really get through.
See, I was gonna tweet this the other day, but I'm kind of glad I waited on here. There's a difference between me watching like Infinity War and that movie ending versus watching Endgame and that movie ending.
It takes an emotional toll on you.
Exactly, like Infinity War and both Endgame are both have like, well, they both end sadly. But what I love about Infinity War's ending is it's sad, but you're also like curious about what's gonna happen next.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh man, that's like really dark, but like what's happening next? With Endgame, it's like sad on the level of, oh, that's like happy they won, but like, oh, what are we gonna do now? You know, like it feels
a little
like,
bit empty.
Yeah, exactly. I feel empty inside.
Yeah.
Whereas Infinity War, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the apex of the MCU right now. Man, I was still like watching. There was a big like trend the other day, which is why I kind of got into the whole MCU mood thing again. Was like people were tweeting out the live theater reactions.
Oh yeah,
for Endgame, yeah. And like I put on my Instagram story, I was like, what I would do to go back and watch that movie in like a full theater for the first time again. Like,
right.
It was probably one of the most like magical movie moments I've ever had. It's like that and The Force Awakens were like top tier, just pure hype moments.
Here's something for you. I'll give you a question, I suppose.
Okay.
You can pick one of these 3 to redo for the first time again. So essentially you have your memory wiped and you can relive this for the first time.
Okay.
The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man PS4.
It's Endgame.
Really?
I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I feel like The Force Awakens was like, it was a really awesome moment, but like I still feel that when I watch it, I guess, over and over, and like I feel like how I felt back then.
Sure.
It's definitely like, it's gone down a little bit over time, but like in-game just blew that out of the water. Was like it was a landmark moment for Hollywood. I saw somebody tweet, they're like, I don't think there will ever be a moment in a long time that will be as like iconic as the in-game Portal scene, and like how much of a monument it was to just like being this blockbuster moment. And I am currently replaying through Spider-Man PS4. And I'm going to get into that in a second because I need to get through all the housekeeping stuff. Otherwise, it's going to bother me. But, but yeah, I have some thoughts on Spider-Man PS4 going through it a second time a little bit. Good. But anyway, let's finish up the housekeeping stuff.
Yes, sir.
comicblast_ Twitter, Instagram. Go follow it. You can also follow us at Keenan Creates or at Straightster8. That's me. Keenan Creates is him because his name is Keenan, obviously. That's also on Twitter and Instagram. We have a Patreon. That's pretty cool. If you go look up Comic Blast on Patreon or follow any of the links and descriptions of pretty much everywhere you can find our Patreon. We have 3 patrons and one sponsor, 2 patrons. Our sponsor is Jess. Our patrons are Sam and Joseph. Thank you to them. Anyway,
as much as you were rushing that was probably the best you've ever done the housekeeping stuff.
Yeah, because
in the history of the podcast.
I sidetracked so much.
You became so determined to get that stuff.
Done. Hey, but seriously, thank you to all of our patrons and our sponsors and everyone who has been keeping up and listening during this time. We appreciate you all,
each and every single one of you guys. Sam wrote a blog post. For us. Like, it was so freaking cool.
I loved it.
Yeah, like I read through it and I was like, she really summarized the podcast perfectly.
Yeah, the way I love the references and everything, like I think one of the coolest things it was just like, I don't know, like having someone who like gets all of our jokes and our our chemistry and how we know each other, and also just the small all of those things.
There's a lot of small things that we do that we don't really make a big deal about, but there's kind of like inside things about our show too, like inside jokes, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that other people notice that too.
Yeah.
Like
remember when we were going to review
Phoenix?
Yeah, I was about to say.
we went like a good 6 months saying that we were going to review Dark Phoenix, and neither of us have seen it yet.
And then I brought it back up 2 weeks ago, and you're like, "Yeah,
we're actually
going to watch
do
it," and we didn't. And I don't think we ever will, to be honest. I feel like the day that we review Dark Phoenix is the day that hell freezes over.
That will be the last day of the Comic Blast podcast. If we're ever going to quit, that's going to be our going out.
This is the finale episode. Yeah. Oh, man. That'd be sad. I hope that never happens.
Yeah, me too.
We're destined to
I'll do this as long. Ooh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh,
Spider-Man
PS4.
Well, let's quickly get through this PlayStation controller if we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The DualSense controller for the PS5.
Yeah.
How you feeling about this controller?
Well, I should let everyone know. I'm probably going to be a PS5 owner before I am the Xbox Series X, whatever.
Yeah, considering you didn't get an Xbox One until a couple of months ago, and it's still technically your little brother's.
Well, I got an Xbox One in 2014.
Oh, that's true.
I had that for a while, and then I ended up selling it. And now I'm a PlayStation owner, and I've enjoyed every minute of it except for something that happened a couple of days ago. We'll talk about that later. But, obviously, I'm going for Spider-Man 2. That's going to be, my one thing that I'm looking forward to in the gaming world. So, the controller is important to me. The controller is, one of the most important things about gaming to me, weirdly enough. And I've always liked the Xbox One controller a lot, so it was hard for me to transition over into the PlayStation. It took me a while to get used to the PlayStation controller.
Yeah, it's jarring.
Yeah, I kind of like the offset thumbsticks.
Same. Yep.
So yeah, it took me a little while. This controller looks fine. It kind of reminded, as soon as I saw it, I thought it was like this. It looked like the Stadia controller.
Yeah.
There's something about it that it it feels like it should be cool, but something also about it feels kind of like fake to me. Or
yeah,
it feels
exactly.
kind of plasticky, like just looking at it.
That's what I said. Like when you bring that up, it almost feels a little like a fan-made concept of like what the controller should look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my friend sent it to me when the news came out, he's like, "How we feeling?" And I was like, okay. So like to clarify, so you're more of a obviously currently now a PlayStation guy, but you have preferred the Xbox controller.
My whole life, I've been Xbox.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. I always like the 360 controller better than the PS3 because the DualShock, those controllers were trash.
Yeah.
Well, at least once you're in a modern day era, obviously like the PS2 controller and stuff. But I prefer those offset thumbsticks, and I think the Xbox One controller is like the best controller, at least for like a first party controller.
Yeah.
We're not talking about like Scuff or any of those like other party controllers, which I mean they look cool. So when I got a PlayStation for Spider-Man, I remember being so used to Xbox that like with the thumbsticks, my thumbs would start hitting each other because like the way I would play. And so now I have to like adapt when I like switch to each one.
Yeah.
So I really like that offset like thumbstick functionality. And so then I saw this and I was like, so this looks like an Xbox controller if the thumbsticks were like a PlayStation controller. Yeah. And I'm like, that just seems like a weakness to me. Like I know they don't want to copy Xbox, and I feel like that's almost their trademark. And if they did change it to the offset, people would be like, you're copying Xbox.
Yeah.
And I probably would say the same thing, but to be honest, I wouldn't really care that much because
we'd get over it.
I'd get over it. The overall shape of the controller feels a little too narrow in the sense that like the grips are big, but what's different about like this controller versus like an Xbox controller is I feel like the grips kind of aren't as like concave. Like I was looking at it and it looks like a Batman Beyond's batarangs,
sure,
which are like the handles go like more down than they do out, and so it's like, you kind of want that like perfect like angle, and so it feels like it's going a little bit too much down.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, the triggers look nice. I like I'm a fan of the triggers, and I also like the midsection with like that whatever the new share button is called.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
There's no like words on it, so you have no idea.
It's like 3 little dots. I've heard people call it like the honk button because there's a game called Untitled Goose Game, and when the goose honks, it makes like 3 little squiggly lines, and it looks just like that. I obviously one thing I am a fan of on the PlayStation controller over the Xbox controller is I really like the that touchpad in the middle, and I'm glad they're keeping that. I think it's cool. And let me pull it up one more time because like I actually
really like the colors. Concepts. A lot of people didn't like the colors.
Really?
Yeah, I like the colors, but my favorite thing to come out of this whole thing is just watching Boss Logic just design different, controllers. He had like Spider-Man one out and just like all these other cool designs, and I was like, when I saw the Spider-Man one, I was like, okay, I'm starting to like this a little bit more.
Yep. I think that one's sick.
It's just tough to get used to because it's something new. It's a big change from, the controller that we have now for the PlayStation 4 because PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 controllers were like all relatively the same. I mean, they got better, but the design they're all very similar designs, Yeah. This is a big change for PlayStation. So that's what's just, to be honest,
I think my favorite PlayStation controller is the PS4 controller. Like,
me too.
I mean, I'd have to see until we get this new DualSense controller.
Yeah.
But there's some really cool concept out there. I saw one on Twitter. There was like 9 different designs. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at one right now. It's for The Last of Us, and that's pretty sick. But we got to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But I saw one that essentially what they did is they changed around the colors a bit to make it look more like a classic PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
So they put it's still a little bit of like, instead of it being white on black. It was like black on white.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of like a gray in there. And I think the biggest thing that I like on a classic PlayStation controller, on alternate variations, I don't care, but I like the pink square, the green triangle, the red circle, and the blue X, or cross as they call it, because it's not it's an X. I don't care, it's an X. So I always like that, and I remember I saw someone make like a it was like almost like a PS1 variant of the controller, where it was like all gray.
Yeah.
It was gray with a little bit of black, and then those colored buttons. I've seen people. I remember you posted it though. It's like it does look like a Force Awakens stormtrooper.
Oh, absolutely.
It even reminds me a little bit of that movie, that Tom Cruise movie, Oblivion.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that white on black, which people always think is like. Very futuristic now,
right?
Yeah, for me, a controller, I have to get my hands on it, so
Same.
we'll see how this goes, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I'm optimistic.
But yeah, speaking of PlayStation stuff, actually, let's see, how do I want to transition this? I can go two paths right now. I'm gonna go one path, and we're gonna use and loop back around.
Okay.
So, Last of Us 2. And Iron Man VR, the biggest one being Last of Us Part 2, though.
Yeah.
Delayed indefinitely by Sony.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Well, this is a tough time for me because you haven't played The Last of Us yet, right?
No, but I'm going to play it very, very soon.
Okay.
I'm trying to chip away at my Spider-Man replay.
Yes.
And I'm actually replaying Jedi Outcast on the PlayStation 4,
Wow.
which it's my favorite Star Wars game, or the one that I know by heart the most.
Yeah.
And I bought it for like $10. I'm like, we'll see how this runs on a PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting all the trophies and stuff on that. I was literally playing that like right before we started recording. But I'm trying to get done with those two things. As soon as I beat Jedi Outcast and I make a decent ways through Spider-Man, I'm starting The Last of Us, and I'm going to fully commit to it. But I was planning initially to play it like now. That way I could get it when it came out next month.
Which isn't happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's not happening.
It's tough. So I kind of like... I think most people should have expected this to happen. At the same time, I'm like annoyed because this shouldn't have happened, because this game should have came out like forever ago.
It was supposed to come out in February.
Yeah.
It got delayed to May. And at this point, it's not even because of the game. Like they literally said in a newsletter thing
that the game is like ready.
Yeah, it's like they're finishing it now. So it is pretty depressing to be like, well, we have this finished game, but we can't, you can't release it unless they just release it digitally, which there's talks of that.
I don't think that will happen. They actually took the pre-order off of the digital stores, so wow, they're trying to. That tells me that they're not planning on releasing this for a few months now.
Yeah,
it's so annoying. This game was one of the few things that I was like feeling like, might actually happen, and I'll have some sort of new content to, play. But
yeah,
I'm not. I mostly feel for the people who have been played The Last of Us when it was like on PlayStation 3 or whatever.
And have been waiting forever.
Yeah, because for me, it's like I played it a few months ago for the first time, and so it's kind of new. But I was really excited. I played it because I wanted to play the second one, and it was a highly acclaimed game. So I wanted to check it out. But I don't know if I told you this, or I may have not mentioned it on the podcast. I'm not sure, but I'm not a big fan of zombie games.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm the same way.
It's not my thing. Unless like there's like a multiplayer zombie game that I could play with friends.
Yeah.
But this
Call
one,
of Duty Zombies, what's up?
Yeah. This one was very interesting because it didn't feel like a zombie game. It felt more like a personal story between these two characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it really grabbed my attention. It's a very cinematic game, or cinematic experience.
That's what Naughty Dog does best, is those cinematic experiences. So
I feel for the people who've been waiting, and I also feel for the developers because they're excited on getting this out, but it's a bummer. This is just the way the world is going to be for a little while now.
Yeah.
The end of the year is going to be stacked with content. I'll say that.
I mean,
we're going to be overwhelmed.
I was about to say, like, for now, like, everything, like, this is a good time to catch up on everything.
Yeah.
But man, when things start to come back into circulation, it's going to be slammed. Because I mean, now, like, with everything going on, like, so that the Avengers game comes out. Cyberpunk comes out. I mean, I don't know when The Last of Us comes out. I hope it comes out over the summer like the first game did. That would be
That'd
nice,
be awesome.
but we'll see. So maybe like June would be kind of, I mean, that's only about a month. It gives them time to polish the game even more. But like it's going to be really busy, but obviously like they had to do it, but it's still sucks for the people. And like it's weird, like, cause I've put off playing it for so long, but like I definitely know a lot about that game, because like I remember watching like some playthroughs and stuff, which I never finished all of them. I never finished it because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till I play this game myself, because I was planning on getting a PS3, and then I was like, oh well, I'm gonna get a PS4.
Yeah.
And now I have the game on my shelf. Like I got it the same night I got Spider-Man when it came out.
Yeah.
Like the midnight release. I've had the disc of that game for that long.
Almost 2
and
years.
I started it and then I was like just kind of not in the mood, and I was like, I'm going to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's something that happens with me, is I have to be like in the kind of right mindset to play a game. So yeah, but
sad.
We'll see, I guess. Kind of coming back around, though, there's actually two things that I'm thinking of, but I want to talk about your situation that you mentioned, you hinted at a little bit earlier, and if you follow Keenan on Twitter, then yes.
When did Red Dead 2 come out? I don't remember. Last year?
October of 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm way behind.
It came out a month after Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, playing Red Dead 2 for the first time. Never played the first Red Dead.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Red Dead 2 is a prequel, so it doesn't matter.
Very, very fortunate. So this game's interesting. My brother played it. My brother's not even a big gamer, but he highly recommended it. He was obsessed with it.
Yes, it's so good.
My friend Todd at work has some of the greatest Red Dead 2 stories you'll ever hear in your life. So shout out to him. He listens to the podcast. And then you obviously have been recommending the game.
Yes.
Didn't really seem like something I'd be interested in. I was wrong. The game's amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
I really struggled. So like, I don't know if you saw my tweets, but like I went to install this game digitally. Yeah. And it took about 2 days to install it. It was like 30 hours because the game's just massive. And
it's so big, yeah.
And on top of that, my internet's been running a little bit slower lately. Not sure why, but so I waited. I installed it. I started the installation on Friday morning, and it got done around like 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh my god!
There was one point in time where it said like 12 hours or something like that remaining. So I was like, all right. I was like, I'll leave it on while I'm at work. I'll come back and it'll be down to like 4. And then I got back and it said 11 hours, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So
see, okay, hold on. You were giving me a hard time earlier this week about physical copies of movies.
Yeah.
This is why I get physical copies of really big games like that, because you can install them straight from the disc.
Yeah.
And I remember I installed Red Dead 2 in about an hour and 10 minutes when it came out, the night I picked it up on release.
That makes me so mad. Like,
yeah.
Obviously everything's closed right now, and it was on sale on the PlayStation Store, so I was like,
yeah.
It was the what's the highest edition you can get of the game?
Ultimate edition. Yeah.
So it was that.
I have the steelbook of that.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, I installed it. I started playing it like late on Sunday night, and I probably got about 5 hours into the story.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I came back to it the very next day, after work, and there's this part, minor spoilers for the game if you want to play it.
If it's in like the first 2 chapters, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. So
there's this part where you go on like this bear hunt with a character.
Yeah.
And then you have to pitch a tent. And literally every time when I would go to pitch the tent, it would crash. And I tried it 4 straight times. I would go through that whole mission, pitched a tent, the game would crash, and it said that the data was corrupt. I have to uninstall it and reinstall the game. So at this point in time, I'm like, I don't want to play it anymore. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm like, I'll just look up. I'll look it up on YouTube, because in my head I thought like I was gonna have to replay the whole game if I deleted it, and I found a way to like keep my save data. Thank God. But I was so mad. I was like, I waited this long, and I played through the story, and now you're gonna tell me I have to delete it and do it again? So I did, like, because I was weak and I was bored.
Yeah. Yeah, what else are you gonna do?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm getting through the game now. I'm on chapter 3, and
okay, cool.
It's been really fun. I mean, the whole game is just an interesting experience. But after playing this game, it made me realize that I just need to play more. Like, I need to play more video games that have good stories. Like now I want to play like God of War, even though I've never played a God of War game in my life.
I made it. I got about 15 hours into God of War, and I'm gonna go back and restart it because I didn't get to finish it.
Yeah.
It's about like a 30 hour game. It was what beat Red Dead 2 for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Which is insane because like Red Dead 2,
it's already great.
It's already amazing. But God of War is like, I mean, I've heard it is one of the like greatest video games of all time.
That was 18 for all of.
God of War came out, I think this month will be 2 years.
Yeah.
And then they both came out 2018.
That's insane.
So
2018 was stacked for PlayStation.
Yeah, it was. I remember Spider-Man, Red Dead, and God of War were all nominated for Game of the Year for the Game Awards. There were some people that were salty about Spider-Man not winning, and I'm like, guys, it's compared, but like, still though, like it's. I'm like, I mean, yeah, there's some people that are heavily biased, and I'm like, I am too. I love Spider-Man, but there is no way it stacks up compared to Red Dead 2 and God of War. Like, those games are masterpieces, whereas Spider-Man is like. It's like, it is a really great game, but it is, if you put it next to Red Dead 2, like it's gonna get smacked down.
We'll see. I still have a long way to go in the game, but I've enjoyed. Did you see my tweet about my horse story?
Yes. Well, yeah, but I want you to tell it.
All right. So here's the horse story. I went on some mission, and I didn't know you need to tell your horse to follow you, because I had to like take a wagon to some other town. So I was like, all right, whatever, take the wagon, and we'll go to this town, deliver this little wagon thing. And then I get there, and then I'm like, okay, completed the mission. I'm out in the middle of nowhere at this point in time. So I'm like, let me whistle for my horse. And then I get this little message, and it's like, your horse can't hear you. You're too far. I was like, what? I was like, I just figured it would just, be there with me,
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way. So
that's actually kind of weird.
Yeah, so I'm like, great, I have to walk all the way back to my horse, which was so far, and I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, like just fields and mountains around me, and like one trail. So I'm running through this trail, keep running out of stamina over and over, and I'm like, I can't do this. It's like, I really can't do this. And I happened to stumble upon like some guy who was like messing with his horse. He was like I guess like messing with his horseshoe.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
Well, there's a couple variants of it, but yeah.
Okay, so he's messing with the shoe or whatever, and I'm like, I walk up and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna rob this guy and take his horse, and then we'll be okay. So I go up there and I'm like, I get my gun out, gonna get his horse, and then his horse kills him.
Yep.
So he kicks him. So I was like, oh wow, I was like, that's really convenient for me. It's like I didn't have to do anything bad. So I end up getting his horse, and I'm like, thank God. I'm like, I've been wandering forever on this trail. And so as soon as I get the horse, I'm like flying. I'm like, I want to get back to my horse. I'm like, just want to get this over. I'm flying, and I fly off of a mountain. I killed my horse.
Oh no.
So then I just started walking all the way back to my horse again. Yeah, that was a rough time. That was the most aggravated I had been at the game at that point in time. And the thing that kills me is that was the second time I lost my horse in that same day that I was playing it. So I didn't learn my lesson.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it's an interesting game. I'll say that.
Yeah. I remember the horse clips and stories that I saw when that game came out, because I mean your horse will like trip over like the most like random things sometimes, or like just go in like complete opposite directions.
There are times where I'm like, I run into something with my horse and I'm like, he's dead. I'm like, there's no way he survived that.
And he gets back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have one more story. If you don't,
go for it.
Okay, so there's this one mission where you're kind of like you're robbing this train or whatever, and then you get chased down by a bunch of people. It's late at night, and the darks on my TV are already like more dark than they should be. I need to adjust that.
Yeah.
So I cannot see anything when I'm playing at night, and I'm flying with my squad or whatever they want me to lead, and we take off into the woods, and I'm flying, but I cannot see anything, and I run into a tree with my horse. Immediately I was like, there's no way he survived that. I was like, there's no freaking way. I fly off the horse, and I had like a deer on the back of my horse too, and the deer flew off. We're getting chased down and shot at. My health is red. I'm almost dead, and I'm like, I gotta get back on my horse, and I accidentally like was like standing by the deer, and that I had hunted earlier, and meanwhile, while I'm getting shot and my guys are yelling at me to get them out of the whole situation, it's very chaotic. I can't see a thing. And I accidentally hit the button to skin my deer. So I'm in the middle of the woods late at night, cannot see a single thing, skinning my deer while I'm getting shot at. And I'm just like, what is happening right now? I was getting so mad. I'm like, I don't care about the deer. It's like, just get me out of this place. So I was just.
Did you die?
No, I didn't. I was able to get on my horse and we got out of there because
that's impressive. Wow.
Yeah, but my deer. No, I didn't get the deer. I left it.
Just skinned it for no reason.
Yeah, I was so annoyed because I couldn't even see what I was doing and why I wasn't on my horse.
Right.
And then when eventually I was like able to kind of like spin the camera around, I was like, "What am I doing right now?" I'm like, "Why is he cutting this open?"
Wow.
Fun game.
Having some fun times. Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, made it through the entire story without my horse dying.
Oh man, good on you.
Yeah, and it's I won't say anything other than that. And the worst part is, I, for the life of me, cannot remember what I named my horse in Red Dead. And I played with that horse for like 90 hours because I remember the name of my horse from online. Yeah. And maybe I named him the same name. I don't remember. But my name and my horse's name in online is Lisa. And I don't remember. It just came to me. I don't know. And I'm trying to remember what the name of my horse was in the story, and I just can't. And I'm hoping there's some statistics or something of my longest horse that I've had or something.
Yeah.
But I can't find it, and it breaks my heart because that horse was with me for so long. I named
my horse Kylo.
Oh that's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I wanted something Star Wars, and it was a boy, so I was like, Kylo works. It was either that or Ben.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a kind of a side story because this is not related to Red Dead at all. But I'm actually thinking about getting a new vehicle, or I'm heavily considering getting a new car.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to kind of talk it over, figure out what the best option is, because I've never really purchased a vehicle. I was just given my truck.
Yeah.
When I was when I started driving. But I'm not a big car guy. I'm not someone who's really into
Same.
Super nice cars or whatever. But I do have a dream car, and it is a 1979 Camaro from Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Which, if you remember that was Bumblebee's first form.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that car, and especially because my dad had a Camaro, and my Nana also had a Camaro. So Camaros are kind of a big deal in my family. And anyway, I was talking to Cole and also just my family, and I'm considering, I found one in South Carolina that's red and black, and it's used, and I'm considering getting, like, possibly selling my truck, and just while I'm young, because, you know, when I'm older, I may not have the luxury of having, like, you know, a dream, like my dream car or whatever, because I'll need something more practical. So I'm considering getting this Camaro, and I was talking to Cole about, like if he has a name, because I know a lot of people, like, they name their car, you know, and I was like, I think if I got that car, I would name it Ben.
That's smart.
And so, and then I'll have to post it with his permission, of course. We made this Photoshop. He's like, I don't know why, but now I just imagine Uncle Ben as Bumblebee.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, please Photoshop that. And lo and behold, he did. And now there is a world where Uncle Bumblebee exists.
Oh my god, dude. I want that. I want to see that picture.
I will send it to you.
Thank you.
ASAP. It is possibly, like, I look at it and I just can't help but continuously laugh. It is one of the dumbest creations, but it's such a good Photoshop. Like, you're going to love it. Dude. Anyway, that's my story about Ben. I don't know. You went from a horse, now I went to a car, but yeah.
It was worth it. I'm glad we got there.
But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying Red Dead. I lectured you a little bit on Twitter. I was like, don't rush through the story, like play the side missions and stuff.
I'm telling you.
Okay, you're on chapter 3. This is the point where you need to slow down, because I'm going to tell you the entirety of chapter 5, you are not going to be able to do anything except story.
Okay. Is there 5 chapters?
There is 6, and there is a 2-part epilogue.
Okay.
So roughly, I would call it 8 chapters. But you're gonna get to the point where as soon chapter 3 and 4 are going to be the most pivotal chapters where you want to go and, like, get stuff done. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah. Definitely, like.
So I'll take it a little bit slower then.
Yeah, take it a bit slower. You will not regret it.
It's so
I
tough.
Definitely.
I like to fly
tough.
through games, but
yeah,
I'll try to.
You're like, there's things that I wish I did after once I got to chapter 5. I was like, there was things that I wish I did that I'm like, oh man.
My friend Todd, he told me, he said his first time playing, he had some regrets. And he told me, he was like, every chance you get, be a good person. Don't be a bad person. And, like, he's like, if you can help somebody, do it and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, as soon as I started playing, I was like, all right, I'll take his advice. And then I just kept getting more and more tempted to do bad things.
Yeah.
So I haven't necessarily taken his advice. The first time, like, there was some guy on the side of the road who needed help. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, and I think this happened to my friend Todd too, but I was like, all right, I'll help him. I was like, I don't really want to, but I'll help you.
Was he, like, stranded?
Yeah. And I accidentally ran over him with my horse. So I was like, well, forget that. I'm like, I'm not helping anyone now. So I've run over a lot of people with my horse. I've had a lot of bounties on my head because of that.
I was only bad within, like, the first 2 chapters. There's 2 that I have to tell this story, and I feel like people are going to label me as such a bad person. Well, the first is actually really funny, but the second one is horrible, and I felt so bad after the fact.
I want to hear that one the most.
So the first one, just to segue in, I remember I was up in the mountains, and I found this crazy old guy in a river, and he was like spitting out like this like religious nonsense that was like just completely heretical, and I was like, dude, shut up. And eventually he started, like, he follows you. Like, even if you go to the river, like, he will start following you through the woods.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, dude, and I pulled out my shotgun and I blew his head off. And then I threw his body in the river and watched it just go down. Actually, I'm pretty sure I lit his body on fire, then threw it in the river.
All right. I need to find out where this guy is because I want to do the same thing.
It's a random occurrence that will happen, but it's this crazy.
I hope I find him.
I just pulled out my sawed-off shotgun and just like annihilated this guy.
Dude, he caught you on a bad day. That's all it was.
He started pissing me off. So I was like, all right, go away. I didn't like lose any like. I don't think I got a bounty because it was straight up in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Take people into the
middle
next
of the woods. One is not a random occurrence, but something that I definitely regret doing. So here's what happened. All right. I'm in, if anybody knows the geography of Red Dead, I'm in Lemoyne, which is essentially a gigantic, like, heat swamp. It's really, like, gross and muddy. It's like Louisiana.
Yeah.
And so something happened. I don't remember exactly, but I got a bounty, and I got a massive bounty, actually. And essentially, I lost my horse, and I was running through the woods away from, like, bounty hunters and stuff. And at some point, it was straight up like Spider-Man 3 when Sandman is running through that field, and there's just people chasing after him. Like, that was me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I managed to, like, jump into the river, or jump into like, the lake, and, like, dive underwater and get away from them. And then I ended up, like climbing the cliffs, and I found this house, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, my health, like, I'm out of stamina. I'm out of health. My guy is tired. My guy is hungry. I was like, I need to check out this house to see if there's some stuff in here. Well, I go into this house, and when I go in there, my guy starts eavesdropping because there's two people that live in that house.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a dad and his son. And so he's like, my guy gets behind like a wall and starts like, he peeks around the corner and starts listening to this conversation. And essentially this dad is like drunk, and he's yelling at his son, who's about a teenager. I'd say he's about 15 or 16. And they're in this whole argument, and he's like, something about like how his like mom died and everything.
Yeah.
And at one point he hits his son, like he slaps him across the face, which he's like immediately regretful for, but he is drunk.
Yeah.
And so like, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, do I need to step in and like help this kid out? And so the kid, like, he gets like upset, and he rushes around the corner really quick, and he sees me. I'm this guy, I'm covered in mud and blood. I have my hat on, I have my bandana on. And he immediately freaks out, and he goes, Dad, get the gun. And I'm like, oh my God. And his dad comes around the corner with the shotgun. He's like, get out of here. He's like, get out of here now. What are you doing? And I'm like backing off. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like being really slow, not as to like start him to shoot me. And as soon as I get out the door and start stepping down the steps, he starts opening fire. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm already like so low health. And so he hits me in the shoulder with his shotgun. And I'm like, crap. I'm like, I'm gonna have to kill this guy. I whip out my my revolver, and I just go bam, 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 and just like unload 6 shots into this guy's chest, and he is dead. This guy is dead. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, and I'm like, oh no, that kid is gonna be in there. And so like I go back in the house because I'm like, I need food, man. Like I'm dying. I am bleeding out. And I go in there, and I go into his room, and the kid is underneath his bed screaming, he like and crying.
Oh my God!
And like that I killed his dad, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And I literally like, it got to the point like I'm talking to my friend in an Xbox party as this is happening, and he is cackling with laughter because he's really evil.
Yeah.
Like I think I was streaming it or something.
That would be me.
And so, then I'm like, oh my God, do I need to kill the son too?
Oh
like,
my God.
Because I'm like,
put him out of his misery.
I'm like, because well, first of all, like he could go tell the cops, like, and I'm like that what happened, and so like I pull out my shotgun and I aim it at him, and he's like, please don't, and I'm like looking into his eyes, and I'm like about to like, I can just imagine, I'm like, oh my God, like he's giving this just like this dreadful cry, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I can't do it. And so like I put the thing away, and then he runs away into like another room, and I take a bunch of stuff out of his room because I'm like, dude, I need some stuff. And so essentially I murdered his dad, and then I ran away, and I'm like, this is the origin story of how in a couple years later this kid is gonna become this trained bounty hunter, and he's gonna come after me and get revenge, and this is how I'm gonna die.
Yes, Rocksteady, this is your next game.
Yeah, I was like to say, I'm like, you can make this the plot right now.
Yeah.
Because, but like, Yeah, that was probably my most traumatizing Red Dead story of like, after that, I was like, I'm never doing anything bad ever again. I am becoming the most loyal saint of all time. I never did anything evil again after that. Like the immense amount of guilt I felt after that was, I was like, I cannot bear it.
I love that. I wish I was there to watch that.
That was one of my...
I'd have tears.
Yeah, it was... I wish, like... Oh, man, that was just an unforgettable moment.
Yeah.
Like, I love that game so much. I need to replay it at some point soon.
Yeah, you have a lot you need to replay.
Speaking of replay, yeah. Nice
hold
segue.
on. Let me say this. Okay. I woke up in, like, the middle of the night, and I saw that you tagged me in, like, your Spider-Man replay thing, which made me so happy.
Yeah.
So you like made a little Instagram post about how you're finally replaying Spider-Man, and I was shocked. I felt like that day was never gonna happen because you've only played through it once.
Yep.
Did you start the game? Did you did a new game plus, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Did you do ultimate difficulty?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yep.
Continue with your story then.
Right. Yeah. So I've been playing a little bit through Spider-Man. I'm not super far into it. Like, I think that night I got past the Kingpin boss fight, and then after that I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed because it was like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I beat Kingpin, and then like the next step is like you have to go to gotta go to work, and so I was like, yeah, I'll stop here, and then I kept on playing the next day, and I'm like, just going through like that whole little section or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I think, where am I at right now? I think I'm at the point where I have to like, I'm like fixing the radio towers. I think the next step is I have to go to one of those construction sites. Essentially, like they're setting you up for all of these side activities before you get into the main story. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really starting to piss me off because I'm like the entire introductory stuff.
Oh, trying to get through all that.
Yeah, from the radio towers to the backpacks to the challenges to the random crimes.
Are you doing all those, or are you just going through the story?
I mean, for that introductory part, you have to.
You have
they're
to,
trying they're trying to set you up for it, and I'm like, dude, I already know how to do this.
Right.
I'm like, please get out of my way.
There are times where it like stops you in combat, and it'll be like, press triangle, and I'm like, duh,
dude. I'm like, I'm killing it in combat in this game. Like I'm a god at combat in this game. I am basically
Spider-Man already. You don't need to
I'm like, I'm about to turn off the tutorials because I'm like, I also turned on the thing where you can skip puzzles, which thank God, because those things have made me so mad.
Those are awful.
I'm honestly right now I'm not having a good time with my replay. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what you need to do? You need to get to Feast. Once you get to Feast, the game picks up.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, I think the last thing I did is I saved that, like, homeless lady, and he, like, refers her to Feast or whatever. Yeah, he's like, they're the best wheat cakes in the city. And he's like, my mom used to make those.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing, though, is, like, I thought my game was glitching out because first of all, I don't remember him making the suit, like, the way he does, his new suit. So what happened was you finished the radio tower thing, and apparently your suit is, like, really beat up. Yeah. I guess from the Kingpin fight. Yeah. And so, like, but what happened is I had the default base suit on because when I jumped out of the window in the beginning of the game, like when Spider-Man does. Yeah. I was wearing the Far From Home black and red suit because that was I was last wearing on my previous save, and I was like, I don't like that. So, I mean, I love that suit, but I didn't want to put it for, like, the cutscenes. Right. So I was like, all right, I'm switching that to another suit. As soon as I got out of that cutscene, I switched it to, like, the regular, just classic suit. Yeah. That's, like, really clean and stuff. But the thing is like, it doesn't actually, like, transfer, like, change the suits for you in New Game Plus. Nope. So it got to that thing, and it was like, oh, yeah, like, I probably should, like, fix my suit so they can't see all three of my chest hairs. So I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, your suit is fine. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, because I selected that suit, like, it's not changed. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he goes to the lab and all of that stuff, and, like, I won't get into the details. But, like, I remember specifically, and maybe I'm getting it confused, that a certain character helps him come up with the design for his new suit.
That's a little bit later.
Okay. Is it like
because a certain character finds out that he's helping
Yeah, he finds out in that thing, and so like immediately like right there he's like, all right, let me fix my suit, and then the cutscene he's like he jumps out and he does that whole thing where he's like showing off his new suit or whatever, and I was like, I remember specifically you not coming up with that design. Like I remember it being like, oh, here's some notes, and like essentially a character gives him some notes on the suit, and then he integrates them. That did not happen, and so I was like,
you're talking about transitioning to the advanced suit.
Advanced suit, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, like I can't see it because it doesn't change the suits. Yeah. So like I don't remember if that was the point where he gets the advanced suit or not. But if I remember correctly, it's the part where he's like, you know, he comes out of the door and he like slides down on the roof and then jumps off and it like spins around and then he runs on top of like the school bus or whatever, or the fire truck, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that the moment that he gets the advanced suit?
I think so. It's been so long since I played through the like. You know, it's the same for you and I. Like the last time I actually saw that the way it was meant to be seen was the first time I played it.
I'm gonna look it up on a YouTube video.
So I kind of like stopped thinking about it, but because I just use the advanced suit all the time now.
Yeah.
Unless I'm doing like pictures or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to say.
I'm gonna look it up, but like if that is the case, it really bothers me how he just spontaneously like I remember there being a cutscene where he's like, oh yeah, like I could use some work here and here, and
I'm so confused. And
it bothers me that he just doesn't like, he's just like, yeah, let's put a white spider on it.
So, minor spoilers for the game. I'm trying to think about where this part is. Does that other character find out that he's making that suit in that moment?
Okay, I'm just going to make it easier for us. If you have not played Spider-Man PS4 and you don't want to know spoilers, tune out now.
Yeah.
And we're getting close to the end of the episode anyway.
There's not many people that left of that.
Yeah, but there's some people that haven't played. But this is pretty early on in the game. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, spoilers now. Okay, so the character, Otto Octavius, essentially what happens is Peter goes to work and that thing fails. And he's like, all right, you go ahead and go on.
Yeah.
So then he goes and helps Yuri with like the radio towers and like the homeless person and stuff. And then he's like, I need to go back to work because I need to fix this suit. And it's like, I'm sure Octavius is gone by now. He comes back, and then obviously Octavius figures out, like he sees the suit.
Okay,
he's like, of course, you designed the equipment for Spider-Man. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Well, then he's like, all right, well, I'll leave you to it. And then Peter starts working on the suit, and then immediately it cuts to the next thing, and he's supposed to have the advanced suit. And I'm like, where did you just randomly come up with this design all of a sudden? Because I remember in the story what happens is Otto figures out he's making design like the equipment for Spider-Man, and immediately he's like, hey, I think I have a few design integrations for your suit that may help out, and then that's how he makes the advanced suit.
I think that.
But that did not happen.
No, I think he does get the advanced suit early in the game. I'm also thinking that the design things may have something to do with the gadgets that you get later in the game, such as like impact web.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look up a cutscene to figure out. It just bothers me either way because either it feels like they cut something out, but if they didn't, because I don't think they did, it feels weird for Peter to just be like, yeah, I have this brand new suit now. He immediately goes from like this torn classic suit that he's had for 8 years to spontaneously like coming up with this advanced suit without like any ideas. And I just remember, I swear I remember a bit like Octavius being here, I have some designs. This is why
it helps to play through the game again.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I just feel like I'm being more critical now. Like, I feel like I'm liking the game less because I'm playing through it again.
You just need to stop playing it then.
Stop the replay. You don't need to replay the game.
I don't want to hear this.
No, I'm still excited. I want to get to the raft section and stuff really bad. I'm not looking forward to the MJ and Miles stuff, though.
That's going to suck. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
So you've already been to Feast then?
No.
Okay, so that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the very next
Pretty much
things.
like after that, once you get to Feast, the game just really starts to take off.
Yeah.
Well, actually, after Feast,
you
get your first MJ mission. So after the first MJ mission, then it takes off. Because then you get like Shocker, and then you start to like.
You heard it.
Really
you heard it here,
stuff.
folks. You heard it here first, folks. I hate Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
quote.
I'm just kidding. I still love the game. It's a lot different playing it through a second time and after it's been a while.
Dude, that's insane because
but,
you haven't played it in almost 2 years. The story, at least, and I've played through that game. I don't know how many times. Probably 10 times.
Yeah.
Story and all the stuff.
Yeah.
Puzzles, a million times. And even then, I'm probably not as annoyed as you are right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I feel like I started it and I was like, yeah, I'm excited, and now I'm kind of like feel like I'm forcing myself to do it. So
Sure.
I don't know. It's weird. I'm sure I'll like it better though. But next week could be like, I sold my PS4.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just kidding.
If
that
you're
would
sell
not
it,
happen.
you're gonna sell it to me because I want that one.
Oh yeah, that's true. You know, if that ever happens, and it probably never will, because even if this thing breaks, I'm still keeping it just for the looks of it. Like I could use it as like a kickstand or something. I was like,
It's a display piece.
But if it ever happens, you would be the first person I sell it to, because I knew as long as you gave me your hot toy.
Oh God, no. Yeah, there's 0 chance of that. That's my my prized possession right now.
I was about to say that's just pride and joy right there.
I think
he'd put it in a security case if he had to.
Yeah, I don't think I told you this, but I'm thinking about like starting to make payments on a new hot toy.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking it's time. It's been almost a year since I started my Spider-Man PS4 payments.
That's true.
Do you know which one I want to get?
Which one you want to get next?
Yeah, you'll never guess, so I probably should just tell you.
No, hold on. I want to guess.
Okay.
Give me 3 chances.
3 chances.
Just give me a chance. What about my uncle? Did you give him a chance? Did you? Okay. Anyway, sorry, I just had to do that. Okay. First attempt. Scarlet Spider Mark 1.
Scarlet Spider?
Yes, the one that's like the Ben Reilly, the one with the blue hoodie.
Oh no.
Not that one.
No.
Okay.
I'll help you out right now. It's not Spider-Man related.
Oh, I thought you were talking about getting another Spider-Man hot toy.
Oh no. Just a hot toy in general.
Okay, well, crap. This is gonna make things harder.
Yeah.
I'll do 2 next guesses because I'm not
Okay.
gonna put too much thought into it because we're getting close. Like we kind of need to
Yeah.
wrap up the episode. John Wick.
No.
Don't you? You don't have Ray's hot toy, do you?
No. I wish.
Is it Ray?
No.
Okay.
I would get a Ray hot toy, but the only one that they have available is the Last Jedi one. I'm not really a fan of that design.
Oh, really? That's actually one of my favorites. I like her hairstyle a lot in that.
I do. I like the hair. I don't really like the outfit so much, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, what is it?
Batman.
Which Batman?
Justice League Batman.
Justice League.
Yeah.
Why?
Dude, the suit looks just as good as BVS. They don't have BVS in stock.
Which suit are you talking about? The one with the goggles?
No.
Oh.
It's basically the Batman versus Superman one.
Okay, that's acceptable then.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to get like the one with the goggles. Okay.
No.
I like that suit, but I think the head looks so dumb. I think his goggles look like an alien.
It's a cool little like tactical suit or whatever. But this one is basically the BVS suit. It has more of a little bit more of like a blue tint to it.
Yeah. That's dope.
The head sculpt of Ben Affleck is amazing.
That's sick.
And I just feel like I need something DC related. Yeah. So it was either that or Captain America. The only Captain America one that they have is the Infinity War one, which is great. I like that design.
That one is cool, yeah.
Yeah, but I think if I were to get a Captain America hot toy, I'd prefer like a traditional like Captain America suit.
Yeah, I would love
like the helmet and everything.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, you know which one is sick? Actually, it's a limited edition one, and it's not even a costume in the movies. They made this limited. Is it the one where it's black?
Yeah, they have that one available.
Oh, really?
The only thing that's keeping me from getting it is I want an actual Chris Evans head sculpt, and they only have with that hot toy. They only have the helmet version. They don't have like an actual head sculpt of him. That's the only thing that
sucks.
Keeping
You
me
can't
from
like.
it.
What would be cool, personally, what I would love is I feel like you could probably mix and match them, like if you really wanted to. I've seen people do it before. So you could get the Infinity War one, and you could get that one. And, well, actually, what I would do, at least, not with you, obviously, but get the bearded Cap and put that on like the black suit Captain America,
right?
And that would be like so sick. Would just be because I love his look with the beard.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish he kept it, but it's whatever.
I wish you would get a hot toy. That way I can live like through your experience.
What, you just say you can be like, new hot toy.
Yeah, I get so excited about it, so I think I would get excited about like somebody else I know getting one.
Yeah, so currently like it would have to be between the Mandalorian, the Iron Spider from the comics from Spider-Man PS4, not the MCU Iron Spider. Which that suit has kind of grown on me a little bit more again. I used to I really liked it, then I was like, and then I was like, it's cool. And now I actually kind of like it a bit more again. I don't know.
I'd say the hot toy is kind of like not that great.
Oh, really?
Of that one, but
I think that suit looks really good in PS4, like the actual game. It's so clean.
Yeah.
I just love like the kind of the orangish red that kind of like it just and that's kind of the color tone that I think of when I think of Infinity Wars.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I either want the Mandalorian or I want, honestly, if they did Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren, I'm not gonna lie.
They will.
I'll have to keep tabs.
They'll probably be a Ben
I'm gonna get a
Solo
hot toy inevitably, but I also, like I said, I'm kind of wanting a new car, so we'll see. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. We actually, like we said, always happens. And I always get worried. I don't know why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But we actually talked about a long time about this stuff.
Every
I think
day
the best
when
part was talk about Red Dead.
Yeah. Every time when we sit down and start coming up with ideas for the show, we're like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough for an episode, and then we end up going over the amount of time that we're normally supposed to, just because we ramble a lot. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rambles.
It's nice to be able to be like, you know what, even if people don't really care much about the content of this one, we can still, there are people that will still listen and care more about our personalities and our interests.
It's like hanging out.
Yeah, it really is. It's just us catching up for an hour, especially on these really slow news weeks and stuff. So yeah. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, everything in the beginning before, social media at comicblast _ Twitter, Instagram, at Keenan Creates for him, at Trades38 for me, our Patreon.